Hey, good morning, Patriots. It's the big day. It is time to get out and take action to figure out if you're for a boy or a girl. It's like a reveal party, right, Chris? It's like when you're waiting for the results of someone who's expecting, and there's number two
That's right.
on. Good morning, Chris.
And good morning, number 6. Basically, the real question is, are we gonna be numbers or free men?
Yeah, that's a great question because that's part of the theme. Well, I'm going to take this off in a second, but I have to have it on for now. Is are we free men or
Right.
are your numbers? So I'm vote number 6 today for those voting. There's my little vote number 6. For
I
those who
like that.
don't know what we're talking about the prisoner from Patrick McGowan, 1966. There it is. Vote number
That's
2.
vote number
Well,
2.
I like vote number 6 since I'm number 6. So there you go.
Well, I'm the new number 2, so we're running against each other here,
The
and
new
that's the
number
whole
2.
thing.
That's right.
I am the new number 2.
That's right.
Now, this reference, and if you're fans of The Prisoner, this is great because it's a reference to Free for All, the episode where number 6 was coerced or sort of told to run for the leader of the village against number 2, or to run to be the next number 2, if you will.
Right.
And then this big campaign
Yeah.
going. You had the
Right.
media asking questions, and then kind of putting down the opposite of what he was saying and lying about what he was saying. And then at the end, you find out that the election was rigged all along.
Yeah.
So how relevant is
So
free for all today?
yeah, I just a quick note before we bring in our friend who's waiting in the shadows. Our regular here in a second. I don't want to get her in trouble, but so Free for All is a great episode that basically forecasts the 2020 election.
Yes,
Yeah,
it did.
there it is. So I highly recommend it, and it's not just about the fact that Chris and I are geeks and we love this sort of stuff, and we
Oh
do.
yeah.
I mean, on his other channel, what's it called? Where we did the thing on the prisoner. What's that show?
That was the Outhouse Lounge. Yes, we did it. We're gonna do another
Outhouse Lounge.
prisoner
Yeah.
special, by the way.
Oh yeah, and there's that again. There's me, number 6,
Mhm.
and it turned out to be. And by the way, there's a great ambush interview. I won't ruin it for those who have not seen the episode, but the press ambushes
Yes.
number 6 and does an ambush interview, and he answers the questions honestly, and they change his they change his
They
answers
changed
every
everything he
time.
answers. Yep.
It changes everything he answers. Every question is changed. But I digress. So it's time for you to decide if you're a free man or woman, free patriots, or just another number, because they will make you a number if they get their way, right?
Hey, that social credit score in China is it could be a reality here if the left in the free world gets its way.
That's right. So we don't want that. We absolutely don't want that, right?
We don't, and it's
Yeah.
basically it's something people have to be wary of. They aren't though. That's the other problem. They just
So
are
one
not
last note
wary of
before
it.
we transition. Yeah, there. Don't let Rover get you today. And if you know what I mean, if you know what I mean, if
That's
you're an
right.
insider stuff, but watch out for Rover.
That's right.
He's going to be roving. So
And not
without
that, and not that
this,
cheap
hey,
rover
Karyn,
from the miniseries.
that's right. Karyn, good morning. Good morning.
Good
Welcome to
morning.
Wake
Good
Up Patriots.
morning.
Yes.
Wake up, Patriots. Aren't we already a number, though? See, that's what scares me is aren't we already in this vortex that none of us wanted to be in, this vortex of communism? I think the last 4 years is pretty telling of just how corrupt things are. And, I looked at the episode. I have to admit, I have not watched it, but I promise both of you that when I get off the show today, I'm going to make it a priority to watch this because I've never seen it before.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You might be watching it now.
So
I did some
We'll
research
see.
while you were talking.
We'll see. So The Prisoner was not only groundbreaking, it was psychedelic, right, Chris?
Yes.
It's always better to be on LSD, but I digress.
Yes.
I'm not. Don't take drugs. Stay in school, kids.
Right.
Anyway, but my point being is that episode in particular is so emblematic of what Patrick McGowan saw coming. This was Patrick McGowan's vision and warning. He was prescient on this. And by the way, in that this was 1966, Chris? Is this 66 or 67?
I believe it was 1967.
So in this series, Karyn, they predict cordless phones. They're using cordless phones before anybody even conceived of them. And and they have technology there in this thing, surveillance technology that we now have to live with. So he saw this coming, and this episode in particular is just so emblematic of
Wow.
uh, a central, all-knowing, all-powerful government could do. Be seeing you was the tagline, right, Chris?
That was the one. Happy seeing you. Which, by the way, he also used in Columbo a couple of times.
He did.
Patrick McGowan, yes.
Talking to one of the producers of Columbo over the weekend.
Oh, cool.
I met with Bobby Herbeck. Bobby, if you're listening, God bless you. Bobby was one of the guys who actually knew Patrick. We talked about Patrick and all that. So it's very cool. But I digress. We don't have time to talk about Patrick and Columbo and the prisoner anymore. But carry on one second while I take my jacket off.
I mean, I'm waiting until we have Get Smart. We have the phone in the shoe. I'm still waiting for that to happen. I mean, I like that I have the wristwatch, but the shoe phone was, ahead of its time.
You don't have a phone in your shoe?
I don't.
Why don't you?
Shoe. I don't know. I didn't know it was a thing. Do you, Tony?
I got phones everywhere.
There you go.
Well, what bothers me, did you actually read, here's something funny. Variety magazine actually tried to do an article on, or what was it? The MSNBC's coverage of the election, calling these people.
They tried.
Calling these people the election, calling Rachel Maddow, Nicole Wallace, and Joy Reid as the Avengers, if you will. I don't think they're Avengers. They're the Avengers. They're more like Chump.
I saw that.
Yeah, they're more like Chump, if you ask me.
So I saw that video as part of my prep. I will never watch another Marvel. I'm not interested. And Harrison Ford. You see Harrison Ford all shilling. Boy, that's the best $7 million that Kamala paid, and he got. But I don't know if
I think a lot of us weren't interested in the beginning. I think so many of us, Tony, are so turned off to Hollywood at this point. It's just completely ruined. And I mean, I was a theater geek. I've given that up. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out. I mean, I'll go to a show here and there. I like a Broadway show. I'll admit it. I like the consumption, the entertainment. It's great. But the people behind it, it's unfortunate that they're under the ether to the point where they're pushing a communist agenda. And here we are. If we don't save the country today, do you realize, both of you, like today could be the beginning of the rest of our lives, or today could be yet again a repeat of what happened in 2020. And I want to be on the optimistic side, that we're going to be on the good side of things and the Lord is going to prevail, but I don't know where we're headed.
Yeah, well, we all do. And I'm with you on that. And on that point, I loved Breaking Bad, and I loved Bryan Cranston's version of Network on Broadway, but he's a moron. And Harrison Ford, it's like, I don't need you.
Right.
I need you to shut up and act. I mean, well, you can't shut up and
do what you do well. Entertain me, but don't get involved in serious matters.
I have a different stance on that, because here's how I look at it. The left really needs to run on celebrity. They need to run their campaigns like they're running a high school student body presidency. This is what they're doing. They want to make sure, hey, look at me. I'm cute. I'm perky. And I have a lot of celebrities that say I should be president. That's all they run on.
Contest.
And that's how, unfortunately,
it is kind of a popularity. I mean, look, I'm running for office here. Well, look, it is, I'm running for office down here, and it is a popularity contest. With that said, once you're in, you better be able to do something, right? I mean, it's not like
no.
So I'm just saying. So
no, you see, that's the whole thing.
Anymore, Chris. Scary.
Well,
but here's
anyway.
But here's the other thing.
Ed said I could bring this up. So, by the way, this is an artifact from the Trump rally in Greenville. So my son, Ryan, who just turned 18, proudly voted for President Trump, had these in the crowd. And by the way, he got to meet President Trump. How cool is that? An 18-year-old got to meet President Trump, and he got pictures.
That is pretty cool.
I saw the kids behind him. That's amazing. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
So my son was the youngest Trump supporter in Chowan County. So he got these at the rally, and I asked our evil overlord Ed if I could put them up. He said I could. So
nice, good job.
Good. Anyway, so this is what we want, right? Make America great again.
We all want.
Red or blue. Yeah, all the colors.
Just remember how it was. It wasn't so long ago. It's so obvious to so many of us, but then you think about what we just talked about, I love it. There you go. Well, is it too late? Even if today, God forbid, which I'm hoping again, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to feel the way that I felt coming off a cruise ship. I was on a cruise ship when he won. That was the last time.
Yeah.
2020, I walked out of Mar-a-Lago not feeling so great, thinking about how am I going to report on this tomorrow? What's actually happening? So, I have mixed feelings because you have that level of excitement when he won and we took back this country and we had such a positive light shining upon all of us. And then you have that dark moment where we all realized it was so much deeper and darker than we ever thought it was. And, that 2020 is still pretty close to home for so many of us. And I know our friend Shemaine Nugent, who I adore, she put something on social media that I was surprised at because she's such a resource for information. She said, I'm going to turn off my phone. I'm going to go spend times with my dog and my families. What is done, and I'm going to enjoy myself. And I hope you'll do the same. And I'm going to pray for this country. And I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah. Well, she's the wife of Ted Nugent, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Ted's a friend of ours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
we need to have him on
we have one of his ex-girlfriends on all the time too.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Shemaine's amazing. She's she's a very dynamic woman and a smart cookie. And, she found mold in her house and she went on instinct that something was wrong when everybody kept telling her there was nothing to worry about. And she's just a real go-getter, just somebody who's really special. You'd love her, Tony.
So, well, we should have her on then. We should invite her on. We're friends on social media. I mean, we follow each other. So, but without further ado, I wanted to make sure that we give the Sea of Mud folks credit. This is their Sea of Mud Donald J. Trump signature T-shirt. It's a signature. Did you notice that? It's a signature. It works together well.
I saw that. That's amazing. It's really cool.
So anyway, so he sent me this. I always enjoy his clothing. It's got the American flag right there. We're Americans. Last time I checked, at least we are. I don't know about them, the other side, but we are Americans. So
we are.
Anyway, a quick note on people and things. So I talked about this just a little bit yesterday, but Chris and I are friends with a lot of conservative rock and rollers and Hollywood folks. And so I don't know if you had a chance to watch show yesterday, but I was out in L.A. From Wednesday through Sunday. Yeah. And I attended our friend Cherie Curry's last concert at Whiskey A Go-Go. Whiskey A Go-Go rocks. I mean, that place has been rocking since before I was born, and it's still rocking now. It'll be rocking when when my son Ryan is my age, because it's really cool. Anyway, so we were there with basically Susan Olsen. Susan had actually pulled out a Make America Great Again toque. Can I say toque on the air? I guess I can say toque, right? That's still right, Chris? I'm not violating anything, am I?
You could probably say toque. That's a good one.
A toque, because anyway, well, she had to Make America Great, and then I haven't put these on social media, but I will. And then of course Robert Hayes from Airplane. Don't Call Me Shirley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he was there.
That's so cool. I mean, that's my fangirl moment right there.
He's a great guy. I mean, they're all conservatives. So one of the things I want to note, though, I was actually I was getting ready to go into Topanga Canyon. I was driving around, taking some time before the concert, and I pull over at a service station, and in the van behind me is a white, one of those white typical service vans. It's got all the ladders on it, and then in the front, inside the van, not stuck on it, inside is a little plate. It said Trump 2024. And so I walk up to the guy. It's like, hey, that's great. He says, yeah, we have to keep it on the inside of the van because otherwise people will try to tear it off.
Oh, boy.
And these guys were Mexican. And it's like, yeah, we're fed up. We're tired of this stuff. We don't buy into all this stuff. We hate Gavin Newsom. We hate the progressives. We're just tired. And these guys were just blue collar guys who clearly just want to work and have a good life. So I found that very hopeful that, there is some level of Hollywood and rock and roll is still conservative and happily to be that way. And then folks who are just working folks are waking up. But Chris had something he wanted to talk about today regarding who's paying what for who. So I can tell you the folks that we have on our side aren't being paid for endorsements, right?
No, and what we're talking about also was the caliber of people who are stumping for certain candidates too. Well, you're hearing Cardi B and
Cardi B.
and the dream list of a P Diddy party.
Lady Gaga.
Yep.
I mean, what world am I in?
And
And then
Lizzo.
meanwhile you have Joe Rogan, who's
Wow.
amazing on the other
Here's
side.
it's not just Joe Rogan. Here's the deal with the caliber of people going for Donald Trump. They are smarter. They are more composed. They don't sing wet ass, and they don't act like idiots on stage. Yeah, Joe Rogan.
They don't drug Johns in hotel rooms. Just saying.
And Roberto Clemente Jr. is another one. He's a very a very important figure in the Hispanic community. The son of the great Roberto Clemente, who was these people. This family is a philanthropy family. They do good things for other people, and these are the people that we're talking about. You have your Gary Sinises, your Tim Allens of the world, who side with Donald Trump. Who again, they're calmer. They explain themselves. Even Eric Adams didn't want to endorse Harris.
Yeah.
So another non-endorsement came out of the.
You forgot John Voight. John Voight. Too.
Right, John Voight too. Yes, that's true. But again, it's the caliber of people who are going for Donald Trump versus the caliber of people who are stumping for Harris on a regular basis. I believe they're trying to treat. Democrats like to treat people like idiots, so they want to make sure that the lowest level.
Let me ask that question of both Karyn and Chris. First to Karyn. The premise. They all think they're superior, but my point being is that stupid people don't know they're stupid. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, but I also agree that these people are ignorant to the point, you can call things blissfully ignorant, but it's beyond blissfully ignorant when things are shown to you directly. And that's what we've seen over the last 4 years. And it becomes a part where, it's almost like misery loves company. That's what I see in it, and you see these people. And unfortunately, as much as I want to think that we are the majority and that we got this thing in the bag, we know that they've cheated before. We know that they lie. We know that they'll do anything because misery loves company. And these are people who, in their souls, are not good people. I mean, I really, truly believe that. I think if you're going to back an agenda where you're going to destroy a country and the people that live in it, you are demonic. I mean, you have something wrong with you soulfully that needs to be corrected. That's what I think. I mean, I don't know, but I just think it's evil. I mean, I'm trying to make evil sound a little bit kinder this morning because I want to come on here and be an optimist and not go down some rabbit hole where I scream about communists.
Evil, huh? Yeah.
I mean,
I think there was a guy on MSNBC who basically said, I can't remember who it was, but said basically that all the people now who are coming to vote over for the Trump side 20 years ago were Democrats. A lot of them were because they recognized, like many of us, look at Tulsi Gabbard, RFK. It's like Trump. These people, and Trump.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I know these people. I've met them all. And I know Tulsi way better than RFK. I know Trump a little bit because I've worked and advised him. But I'm just saying, these people are reasonable. Musk. I don't think
logical. They're trying to figure out how anybody could be so demonic and try to take back this country, as we all are, free-minded, American citizens. It's wild that we're in this time.
And look at the Republicans who moved over to the Democrat side, the neocons. And don't forget, the Lincoln Project was found by a gay male sex predator. Okay, co-founded by a gay male sex predator.
None of these people are related.
These are
of course he's going
to
go to the Diddy party then. Of course.
Right. Yeah,
none of these people are relatable to most of us. Lizzo and I have very little in common, I would think. I don't know, but
I thought you played the flute.
Wait, what?
You didn't play I thought you played the flute. That's a lot in common.
I did when I was a kid. Okay. All right. There we go. I want to play the violin too.
Yeah, there we go.
But nobody played the bassoon, did they?
You know what you know what you will be playing, hopefully, for the Democrats tomorrow, the world's smallest violin, right?
That would be amazing. That's my dream. This is my dream.
There we go.
Well, but to continue the thinking about endorsements and what they mean, Tucker Carlson, I like Tucker a lot. I think Tucker said he tried to stay out of politics, but he couldn't. And I think most people recognize, to your point, Karyn, this is not left or right. It's good and evil. This point.
Yeah, at this point,
it
has nothing.
You're either on the right side of history or not, right?
Yeah. And so why is it now, Kamala today? This is a question for you, not you, Chris. You can't answer this because you're you're not a woman. Just saying.
Well,
I know.
wait. What if I identify as? How do you know I don't identify as a woman? I mean, I have long hair and everything.
I think
right?
you do actually identify as Lancelot Link, but that's different. We can't. We're not going to talk about that for a second. But this is to you, Karyn. Kamala and her Kamala Mala Ding Dong staff are all counting on, in swing states, women buying into her message. They're saying, because all the demographics are wackadoodle, which I think wasn't that her? That's Kamala's Secret Service name, right? Wackadoodle. I digress.
Right.
Anyway, let me get back. Let me finish my question.
Oh, go, yeah.
So Kamala believes that women, because they've lost. I listened to NPR yesterday. By the way, NPR, National Public Radio, I would fire them instantly if I were Trump. Oh, President Trump said today that there may be voting issues without evidence. What the fuck? I mean, it's like every time they talk, it's all about Kamala's glowing and Donald Trump.
It's very soothing. The voices, the tone of it all.
Propaganda. But anyway,
it
let me
is
get to my
absolutely
question because Kamala Ding Dong. But anyway, so because the Hispanic demographics dropped for her, the Black demographics dropped for her. They say that women are going to make up that deficit. What do you say?
I think that I'm probably not going to make a lot of friends in my gender, but by saying this right now, but I've met a lot of insane women over the years, and I think there is a certain population of people that are crazy. And yeah, I do think that gender specifically, there are some women who are stupid because they're out of touch of reality. They're lost in some vortex of unhappiness. They don't really know where they're going with their lives. And therefore, they're going to cling on to something that makes them a little bit different, that gives them a little bit of an edge. And by bucking the logical and becoming a supporter for somebody like this, it makes them feel good. They know celebrities. They can see Beyonce. They can sing the songs. And I think that there are some people that are lost in space. And specifically, I think there's some women that are lost in space. And this is why the majority of my friends are staunch conservatives. And there's very few of them because I have no tolerance for BS. And that's what we're dealing with. And she's appealing to those people that are too weak to go ahead and say, you know what, this doesn't add up. Something's not right. I sense that something's wrong, and follow their instinct. I do believe that internally most people are good and that they're not evil, but evil's always lurking around the corner. And the minute that you open up and you make yourself vulnerable to it, you become a channel for it. You become somebody who screams and yells and acts like a psychopath. Well, you're not going to vote for Donald Trump. You're going to vote for Kamala Harris. I mean, let's call it what it is. And I do think that there are a lot of women who are unhinged. There we go.
And you did. You brought up evil and Lost in Space. So there's the doctor. Dr. Smith, and then you also brought up Klingons.
You bubble-headed boobies.
She also mentioned the Klingons. So, do we have any of Worf? I am not a merry man.
Oh yeah, there we go. I like Worf. Yeah, Worf.
I do. I would say that they prey on too. I think the Democrats have always done a really good job on preying on people like there's some sort of humanitarians. These social issues. And I think that the abortion issue for most of us, and most of us obviously watching the show are on the pro-life side. But when you're talking about just people in general, everybody, this is like not something that affects very many people in society. It affects our society as a whole. But it only really affects people of child rearing age, women that are very hormonal that might make crazy decisions.
Well,
and those women potentially could vote for Kamala Harris. And that's why she's reaching out to them. Why wouldn't she?
No doubt. Well, but I've dealt with women. I'm 62 and I've dealt with women who are 10 years my senior saying they're all invested in the abortion issues. Like, really?
It's insane. It doesn't add up. It makes no sense.
I don't think you're going to be worrying about that anytime soon. But the second thing, let me ask this to both of you. This is a non-binary question, by the way, Chris, just for you.
Oh, okay, good. That's me.
So,
I'm
here we go.
Binary.
I'm including everybody in this, so you can use whatever bathroom you want. Just saying. So, what I'm going to ask is, first to Karyn, do you want Kamala Harris to be involved in your dreams, aspirations, and hopes? Because that's what she says she's going to do.
She's already involved in my nightmares, Tony. She's already involved in my nightmares. That's
but
what I
she
got.
keeps saying that. She keeps saying that this is about.
She wants to
her.
infiltrate your mind with her evil ways. She
How does
wants
anybody
to
find that
be
attractive?
subliminally effective of infiltrating your dreams and taking you to the dark side.
Yeah.
That's what she's saying.
How is it
It's
people
sick.
don't pick up on that? It's like she says it constantly. Oh,
It's
but
sick.
I want to
Like
help
Freddy
the
Krueger.
dreams, aspirations in America of all Americans. Like, I don't want you
Freddy
touching
Krueger.
anything of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, remember the nails, the knives?
Man.
There's
Oh,
some-
Chris, I told you
yeah.
to put up
Well,
a
the
warning.
nails
Ooh.
scratching against the chalkboard is her voice, so that's a whole other
Yeah.
a whole other bird there too. Oh my gosh! What? I'm sorry. She's also annoying. I mean, on that lowest level, she's really annoying. But
Did
who-
you
Yeah,
guys
Chris,
see
you got to
the?
answer the
Did you
question.
see the Doug Emhoff clip? And I don't want to get into like huge
Oh,
detail
yeah, we
about it,
talked
but
It
it
was
was
on
yesterday.
really.
yesterday. Yeah, the
You did. It
unfortunate
was on
choice of
yesterday.
words. Yes.
It was very
I don't
funny.
think it
Like
was unfortunate. I
I
think it
chuckled
was-
to myself
It was
inside.
it was a Freudian slip, and his slip was showing yesterday. Just saying.
His slip was showing.
Well, there's
It was.
there is one metric before we get to anywhere else. There is one metric that is in favor of Kamala Harris. One campaign
is?
metric. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the epic rap battles of history
Oh boy.
metric.
I didn't watch it all the way through. Do you have a clip of that or not?
Yes, I do. Now, the epic
right,
rap
let's-
battles of history.
let's see it.
The idea is the first person. They've been doing this. These guys have been doing this for a long time. They have a channel, ERB. The
This
epic
rap
battles-
started.
Yes. And the first person who gets the first line in the rap loses. It happened in 2012, 2016, and 2020. And now it's 2024. And unfortunately, Donald Trump gets the first line. But let's hear a little bit of it. This is fun. Ours too.
Bottles of history. Donald Trump. Wasn't.
I got the best word plays. Ask my supporters. I've got more disabilities than a New York Times reporter. You're a scam. Your whole nomination is a hoax. Your party is so pro-choice, they aborted a state's right to vote. Pencil pushing pussy bows. Think you could scare me with prison? Get your mugshot and your mugshot. Then come talk to me about convictions. To the radical left, you should be embarrassed. The way you divide our country, I'll call you Camel Toe Harris. Your inflation's
gotta
got
hurt.
it. While it's leaking worse than a wet lab in Woo.
Ow!
I had every American's 401k thriving. Stock market's higher than the planes full of migrants you fly in. And don't even try to deny the cognitive decline you were hiding. Prop it up, Joe, like it was wicked. I'm here to teach you, but losing to a winner feels like ask Pence. I know how to drop a mic.
I know you're
That was a great line right there. I know how to drop a mic. Good one.
Those were all good lyrics.
Yeah.
They're very accurate. I thought that was good. I thought
Yeah,
that
no,
was good.
and Harris dropped a few good bars. You want to hear some Harris bars? Because she did pretty good. She
Sure,
did
a few.
pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all ears, but listen up close. You are JD Vance's fear and level weird. You are gross. You've been bending American decency over a barrel. Giving Lady Liberty the finger like BZ and Carol in that big creepy house with our secret stacks and piles. From documents to pedos, you spend too much time with files. Having sleepovers with Laura Loomer? What's going on with you? Can't you afford more than Timu Melania? You failed in your own city. Bank, ballot box, and court. You're home alone too. You lost in New York. I was there on January 6th. It wasn't fun for me. Just like your bowels, I was evacuated suddenly. You were history's hopeful, presidential hopeful. Mood swinging wildly like stock and truth social. I'm here to build bridges from Texas to Niagara Falls.
She's even got better. Wow.
I hope you
That was the best part of the whole thing with Walls. The jump the mic and the Walls thing was good. But I
Yeah.
got to tell you, she does the mannerisms that the woman who played Harris had were actually very good. She was really good.
I don't know.
Good.
I
Well,
mean,
speaking
I
of-
don't know. The whole thing's a little vulgar
speaking
for
of
me,
good
and I like a
things-
good rap.
Well, I do too, but I like the old Run DMC rap.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Speaking of rap that's good, look, there's Paul Stone. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. How are you?
Are you going to do our rap for us too on gold and silver?
Oh, that'd be great.
I started scribbling on something just in case you asked, but I didn't get anything great done.
Oh, well, maybe next time. Well,
Yeah.
welcome. Paul, as you know, Paul is the CEO of Colonial Metals Group. He's always here most Tuesdays. So today's a big day, Paul. We were just kind of going through and talking about the setup for what's happening today, what has happened, but we're unburdened by the past so that we can see the future. Right, Chris?
Yeah.
Chris, are you still there? He's still watching the
Hey, is he
Raptors.
Love with his
frozen?
scarf, Chris.
He's
Oh
he's
yeah,
he's
is he moving?
he's
Is he
deeply
frozen?
he's
I was in deep
meditating
concentration. There
on
you go.
Kamala. He was
no,
he-
no, little freeze here, but all good. By the way,
Little-
just so you know, the Paul Stone is coming to us directly from New York City at the great WABC
Oh, I see that.
legendary
See
studios.
that?
That's right.
That's
with our
amazing.
friend,
We have some pals there, Rita
with
Cosby.
Cats.
Yeah.
He's in
Yeah.
Cat's house.
Yep.
The house of
Yes.
cats. And-
Cat's
Rita-
house.
Rita's house
That's
too.
right.
Rita Cosby. Yep.
It's great. So you should tell John I said hey, and then hopefully you'll see Rita. I was just
Yes.
texting with Rita earlier.
Or
today.
AJ.
I
Tell
will.
her I
I'm
said
gonna be-
hi.
I'm going to be on election coverage panel with them later.
Nice.
Excellent.
Very honored to be a
That's
part
great.
Yeah.
So Paul, tell us what you think is going to happen today based on everything you've been watching.
Well, it's everything I think there's going to be a lot of voting, like I've been saying. My gut instinct is to think, for everything I've been watching, if this was a straight up election, that Trump wins.
Yeah.
Trump wins. I think he's
Right.
he's hung in there long enough and eventually kind of flattened things out nicely here at the end to just have a sensible message. And the stark comparison has come to be when you look at what she focuses and chooses to speak on all the time, which is just crazy insults and just ridiculous behavior and saying things like joy. And what CEO comes to work every day of a Fortune 500 company talking about, our mantra for the business is joy.
Yeah.
She just doesn't take it seriously enough, and you can see that he's a serious person and he really wants this job, and it's kind of fallen in her lap. I think that contrast shows America, though they may not be super enthused about either choice. The correct one is to pull the lever for Trump.
Yeah. Well, let's do one of the things I wanted to do, and I actually delayed this, Chris. I didn't ignore you, but sometimes I do, just not this time. I did want to do Jesus calling as soon as Paul got here, because I'd like to have us all take a moment, because I think we all recognize how important this moment is. Now, I've said, Karyn said, Paul said, Chris has said, this is a battle of good and evil. This is not about right or wrong regarding the political system. The political system is what it is. The founding fathers did a good job. So I don't even want to get into the right or wrong of how it works. It works the way it does. We have an electoral college. It seems to function pretty well. It balances things out. Paul just said Trump was able to prevail by allowing things to kind of balance out. He kept going. So he's gotten here today. So now that he's here, we're here. I think it's time for a Jesus calling. So Karyn, do you have a good Jesus
love
calling
it.
for us today?
I do. I have a great one for today, and they're always spot on, and today is no exception.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think
Jesus
I think
called her.
it looks like the Harris campaign. I'm sorry, the DNC was knocking out Jesus calling for a little bit.
He
Let's
called
let
her
Karyn
collect.
bank on that one.
Just a quick comment while Karyn's on her
Please.
way back, Tony.
Yeah.
When we say good and evil, that might sound dramatic. It's not dramatic, because if you think of two worlds, an evil world and an honest and a good world, the difference would be one world has principles and ethics and takes responsibility and is accountable and makes sacrifices for others, and the other world doesn't. And that's just purely what this election is truly representing. Holding on to the ideals written a long time ago from people who didn't want to live under a monarchy or a czar's thumb anymore. Those ethics and principles were learned at a dear cost, right? And the courage it took to get on those wooden ships and float across the Atlantic to a land they've never lived in before. These principles, these truths, right? That's what Trump is trying to preserve. That's what he's built his life on. Yes, he's been in the construction business, but that's a tough business. But as far as what we get to choose today, you're right. It's good or evil.
Yeah. Well, Paul, I think that's the thing. And the way we have presented information, and you sponsor the program, full disclosure, and I think you've done amazing in allowing us the freedom to talk about things in such a way that people are both educated, entertained, but more importantly, they're informed of the very issue you just said, good and evil. I'm no saint. My life is kind of an open book. I was a spy. I did spy things. I stole secrets, killed people, it's kind of come with the territory. But I did it in such for a purpose of a greater good, and I think that's what we're talking about here: a greater good. We all have to act within the context of our lives of what we have available to us. There. See, Karyn, we can order you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there was a gremlin in my ear. I don't know if you guys were hearing that. So it started, and I was like, what is that? And then it got louder and louder and louder. And it was like some sort of clip playing on like fast forward. It was weird.
Maybe it was the cone of silence taking you from.
It was really weird. Nobody else heard that. And then I didn't know what to do. It was so loud. I got hacked just now. Something happened during Jesus calling. I mean, I don't know what kind of a sign that is, guys.
Did you know, by the way, I posted this on social media yesterday. There's a picture of Barack Obama, and James Woods had posted that, Barack Obama looked like he was just totally, like looking all upset. And he says, when you realize everything is a lie, and my little caveat was, this is what happens when Satan's left a testicle gets crushed by reality. So not that Barack Obama is. It is what it is.
I don't know. I feel like that right now was so like spooky. That was one of the spookier things that's happened to me recently.
Just as you were going to read Jesus Calling.
Well, do it.
Really spooky. I'm doing it again. I mean, if I get knocked off here again, guys, I don't know. Somebody send help.
Karyn, there is an adjustment that needs to be made that you made earlier before the program. Can you remake that adjustment before Jesus Calling, please?
Let me see.
All good. And we're going to have Jesus Calling, and hopefully...
It's not on, Chris.
Oh, interesting. Well, we'll deal with it anyway.
Okay.
Maybe there is interference.
Very weird.
This is Karyn interference.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully no interference, because I'm at it again. Here we go. Jesus Calling. You can live as close to me as you choose. I set up no barriers between us. Neither do I tear down barriers that you erect. People tend to think that their circumstances determine the quality of their lives, so they pour their energy into trying to control those situations. They feel happy when things are going well, and sad or frustrated when things don't turn out the way they'd hoped. They rarely question the correlation between the circumstances and the feelings. Yet it's possible to be content in each and every situation. Pour more energy into trusting me and enjoying my presence. Don't let your well-being depend on your circumstances. Instead, connect your joy to my precious promise. And there's a reading here. It says, I am with you and I will watch over you wherever you go. I will meet all your needs according to my glorious riches. Nothing in all creation will be able to separate you from my love. Gosh, I think we all needed that today, guys. Amen.
Amen.
Beautiful.
Amen.
Yeah.
And thank you, Karyn, and bless us all. And I think
absolutely.
We all have to, so I know this is I don't share this often, but I've said it on with David Harris's program. Believe it or not, I'm in recovery. I've been a recovering alcoholic coming up on 32 and a half years. Wow, time flies. Anyway,
congratulations.
In that time, one of the things I learned was every day to turn my day over to God, and that's part of my meditation. It's like I'm a knucklehead, not like Tim Walsh. Just saying,
I'm a knucklehead sometimes.
I'm not that kind of knucklehead. Just saying, but I believe that you can be informed by the Holy Spirit. I believe that God speaks to us through other people, as well as through our actions. And what I just basically say, look, I turn this day over to you. You show me how to get through it, and it's gotten me through a lot of tough days. So I'm turning my will over to the care of God, as I understand him. Which, God, he's a great guy, and he's got me this far. I think he's going to get us through today. So, Paul, what do you think?
I agree 100%. I've lived. I'm walking the same path. About 6 years, 8 years behind you. I've 26 years of freedom from tyranny inside my head.
Yeah.
And I learned something great from one of the examples that was also down the road further than me at the time. And he would say that God expects a performance out of us each day. And some days we may only have 20% effort we can give. And some days we have 80%. Some days we have 100, but we give all we can because there's a deal. And the deal is that I'll do all the work and God can do all the worrying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Love it.
And that's all we have.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things about it's like we have the present. We need to focus on the present, and then the current.
Well, a
we
little
have
of
to focus
both
on the
there.
present.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
we have to focus on the present.
President.
That's the gift. It's a present. The present is a present to us. We should live in the moment and be free of worry. So I'm not worried. You shouldn't be worried. Patriots don't worry. It's all good, and I think we're moving in the right direction. So. With that said, Chris, was there anything else you wanted to bring up regarding your perception of Kamala, or anything else that I missed today, and what you wanted to talk about?
Well, I'm just with you on this. Watching the last couple of last few days, I did have one thing I wanted to pull off, and I know we touched on this yesterday, but this should be touched on again. The Saturday Night Live appearance from Kamala Harris, and I want to get Paul's and Karyn's opinion on this, and of course the Patriots. I want to revisit this because the idea is this was purposefully done. Let's put Tim Kaine aside because he was a moron anyway. But the idea is, remember when Donald Trump was on the Jimmy Fallon show, close to the end of the camp. It was, I guess, the middle of the end of the campaign, and he gave Donald Trump a noogie on the air. Remember that?
Mm-mm.
The little noogie, the little friendly noogie, that thing on the head. And the idea was the left was so upset because it made Donald Trump look fun and it humanized him.
Yeah.
What Saturday Night Live did was not only destroy the equal time thing and kind of destroy the spirit of it because it was last minute. There was no way Donald Trump could get the same kind of time. But the idea was to put Kamala Harris, insert her into a skit where the character and her would exchange platitudes, and she'd get a sense of humor. It would humanize her. It would make her look like, oh, I'd like to have a beer or a Chardonnay with her, depending on who you are, or an appletini in many cases. But the idea is that it made her look friendly. It made her look human. Made her look better than it did than her speeches and campaigns did. But Donald Trump, equal time or not, Donald Trump would never get time on a sketch, would never get time on a late show before the election day because of all of that. And that's the reason. NBC abused the equal time thing and abused and of course pushed her in last minute. They could have done this 2-3 weeks ago, but they didn't.
Of course.
It's again. I mean, it's the circle of life here.
It's election interference.
You can't be the judge, the jury, and the enforcer. And you're talking about the FCC, who is at this point just as corrupt as the mainstream media. Like they're self-regulating at this point, and all the advertisers, the big advertisers from the pharmaceutical companies, it's all tied in. And it's again just corruption at its finest and brainwashing. But who are the people that are willing to be brainwashed or who buy into the brainwashing? They're the ones in our society that I think we need to look at and, really on this, opportunity now to change the country, get them to realize that this Democrat narrative is completely unhinged because it's ridiculous.
I want Paul to comment on it in a second because you're basically referring to character, and the character that we've seen out of Kamala versus Trump is significant. Now, Paul, before you came on, I mentioned that President Trump. Yesterday we talked about Chris. Remember, back when I was at Fox, our evil overlord Ed Henry, Ed, God bless you, we love you, Ed and Juan Williams and I were hanging out in the lobby of this is probably November of 2015. We're hanging out in the lobby of News Corp there in New York, close to where you're at, just down the road there on 6th Avenue.
Right.
And we're just hanging out. I'm in, my shirt. I took my tie off. I think I was on with Lou Dobbs that day or something. God rest Lou Dobbs' soul.
Yeah.
And here comes Trump with his 3 security guys just walking through, and he stops and he says, hey, you guys go on. I'll catch up with you. To the security guys. Security guys walk off. Trump walks up and just joins the conversation. Hey guys, what's going on? That's Trump. He just came up and started talking to us.
He would do that now if he could. He's got to hate this. That's him.
And so could you, Paul, do you think Kamala Harris would do that?
No. You'd certainly not sending the entourage away. You'd keep the entourage handy, make sure that your importance was elevated amongst the average citizen sitting in the lobby without any security detail.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the other thing too. So, and I mentioned this. So Trump saw my son. My son Ryan got 18. Trump met my son. Now, who does that? I know that And by the way, Laura Trump, thank you for allowing Ryan to do that. Laura had a good role in that. But my point being, Trump appreciated meeting my son.
Yeah.
He actually, there's pictures of it. I have it. It's not the cutout. So, oh, it looks like the cutout. No, my son is really with President Trump. And my point being is that Trump loves people. He loved meeting those kids, and he loves kids. And he does it unscripted. This is one thing I want everybody to understand. And Paul, you can back me up on this. It's like Trump does everything. There's no scripting. There's no scripting.
No.
Everything Trump does, he just does. Right? I mean, it's just it is who he is.
Yeah. Now I'm speculating a little, but I do know that the ingredients anyway, are accurate, and that is, my second job as a kid. I think I was 14, 15 years old, probably did it for a couple of years, was after school, I would sweep out construction sites. So I'd pick up all the, debris, cut wood and the sawdust and sweep these big ass houses out. And, the construction guys would be hanging out, not all the time, but afterwards drinking beer and, shooting the breeze and talking about whatever. And that's where Trump grew up. He grew up on construction sites, and his dad wasn't, an arrogant builder. He was down there with his sleeves rolled up, talking to the plumbers, the electricians, the concrete guys, the framers, the architects, the city people. And Trump's world grew from knowing that it takes a team. You start from the ground. It takes a lot of vision and hard work and accountability. If you cut a wall with a funny angle, guess what's happening to the wall? You're tearing it out and rebuilding it. And guess what? You're not getting paid for the do-over. So I think it's, people miss that. They blow it all. He was handed all this money. He had a jump start, but, on breaking into the Manhattan market. But at his core is people. At his core, he knows there's nothing on his table without putting food on the table, the people that worked with him and for him. No one walks on water to work. So that's not even a standard we should hold against people, because it's never going to happen. No one's ever going to walk on, unless Jesus returns, but walks across the memorial ponds there in D.C. But other than that, no one walks on water to the executive office or any office in Washington.
Well, Paul, but you made a great point. Is that he has done something that most people in elective office have never done. He's built something. He's built exactly.
Common man. It's
important.
Common Americans.
It's important.
Yeah,
it's important. Yeah.
They bring their lunch to work, right? Contractors bring their lunch to work, their coffee to work, right? Yeah. He grew up in that. And so that's just who he's going to be forever. That's just not going to change. And that's why it's genuine when he does say, we are going to enter a golden age, and he's one of his latest spiels. So he knows how to do that. It's just ridiculous. Well, this election also shows us just how far gone half the country is in rejecting that kind of ethic to one's character. And not leaping for joy. Oh, you want to stop building billion-dollar skyscrapers to run this mess of a country? Please come over. Are you sure? Is there anything we can do? This isn't a joke. You're really committed?
Look at Elon Musk, too. Add in Elon Musk to the equation here. Here's a guy who, has no reason to even, benefit from dipping his toe into politics any little bit. This doesn't benefit him at all. It hurts him in every which way.
Well, there is something, and we do have to be wary of Elon Musk. I appreciate Elon Musk's attention and care about the First Amendment and what he did to save Twitter and expose the lies amongst the tech world. But he's still a transhumanist and wants to make sure, he's an advocate for sticking chips in people's brains. So let's keep that in mind. He does have, a need to be moderated.
I think
it's going to be moderated, Chris.
I think it could be. I do think that there's a quirky personality there that you're dealing with.
Keep in mind, this is what he's talked about over the years, and believe me, Tesla's a good company. And it's funny, imagine these Green New Deal lovers don't want to buy Teslas anymore. Imagine that.
No, but they're transhumans. At what point do we have to actually look at the fact that, how much of this, is already happening? Like Elon Musk is ahead of the curve. In a lot of ways, we already are a transhuman society. Look at all the people that are using Chat GPT every day. I'm not, but people are.
I don't use it.
I don't use that. I don't use that at all.
I don't use it.
I don't use it.
But no, and by the way, Dr. Corsi always talks about transhumanism, so we'll have Jerry back to talk about that. That's what he wrote a book on it. But by the way, Karyn, did you hear that Kamala Harris is going to try to do one more political stunt? She's going to call the swing states the swinger states and hope for the swinger vote. You know that?
I wouldn't doubt
we'll see
it.
if
I
that
wouldn't
works.
doubt it at all.
We'll see
Nothing
if
would
that
surprise
works.
me. I mean, these people killed and murdered a squirrel. I don't even really want to
Yeah.
talk about it because I'm going to get emotional
true.
again. I'm not even joking.
Wait.
When I saw
Oh,
that come out, I followed
with you.
Peanut. I did not know that his parents had an OnlyFans. I did not know that there was any controversy there with Peanut. I simply loved watching Peanut on TikTok have
Yeah.
breakfast with his dad. We all did. And to think that the state of New York could come in and take somebody's pet, I don't care what these people do in their bedroom. I don't care about their OnlyFans site. I don't care
Yeah,
about any
cares.
of it.
Nobody
The
cares.
fact that
Nobody
somebody
cares.
could murder a squirrel,
Right.
okay, that belongs to somebody that is a squirrel celebrity is just infuriating on every level. It's just such an illustration for government overreach. I don't think that there's anything that couldn't cross party lines. Like, my hope today is that there are some people, some, suburban moms that Kamala's, targeting, no disrespect meant, but it's reality, that this squirrel thing hit home with them because this is absolutely, it's sickening. It's disgusting. Squirrels are adorable. I love a squirrel.
The women that Kamala Harris targets are afraid of squirrels, so that's not a good thing.
I don't
Speaking
know.
of squirrels, squirrels are great with squirreling things the right way. It's in the name, right?
That's
and
true.
so one of the
That's
things
true.
you need to squirrel away is silver and gold.
Beautiful.
Right, Paul?
Yeah.
So
what a transition.
So let's talk about Paul. And he's no squirrel. He's a good guy. And he wants you to squirrel away gold and silver. So let's talk about colonialmetalsgroup.com. Ed-Henry. Go to Ed's portion of Paul's website, colonialmetalsgroup.com/Ed-Henry, or call him 800-805-4034. There he is, the overlord in one of his nice days when he's looking all chipper and happy.
He does look dapper.
We love you, Ed. Yeah, don't fire us, Ed. Anyway, so I feel like Don Rickles here. Don Rickles used to be funny in the old days.
He's always been funny.
So are
yes.
you.
So check out Paul's, folks, because you want to squirrel away what you need to have for your family security. And the way to do that, Paul, and we'll have you comment on this in a second, no matter what happens today, the momentum of the economy is going to continue. Even if Trump jumped in tomorrow, it would take a year to begin to undo the damage that's been done to our system. So, and by the way, quick note on Ed. Ed is going to be covering from 6 on the Newsmax coverage of the network, the network's coverage, N1, Newsmax 1. So shout out to Ed. Ed will be doing the main coverage this evening. So God bless Ed. But anyway, back to Paul. Paul, tell the folks here about the fact that even if everything goes as we are praying it goes, things aren't going to get rosy overnight. As a matter of fact, they may never get rosy again because of the damage done. But gold and silver gives people options that go beyond the current fiat currency issues we face with the dollar, right?
Yeah. If Trump and his team come in, it would be our opinion that there's a lot more constructed to make for a softer, crashing back to reality. Then if Kamala were to win, then you would also have, in our opinion, a hostile leader in the White House that wouldn't be looking out for your wealth and your savings and your rights and your privacy, when what we expect has to happen based on the math, a transition away from the analog dollar-based system. And we have a digital dollar these days. It's been around for a long time. We're talking about a cryptocurrency issued out of the Fed, a currency change, literally from when all the countries in Europe gave up the Deutschmark and the franc and the lira for the euro. Those were tiny countries, tiny economies. None of them were the reserve currency nation like the United States is. None of them had $35 trillion in debt and hundreds of trillions of dollars of wealth that would need to move into that new currency. And the reason for that is the dollar, the way that the government before Trump and even during Trump has been solving its problems is printing money to keep the lights on for tomorrow. So if you thought of money as energy, 3% of our financial energy remains in the dollar to be provided and electrify the economy tomorrow. 3%, 97% of that energy has been vanquished. That's how you want to start looking at it. That's just a reality check. That's not a personality check. It's not against Kamala or Trump. Eventually, this thing has to happen. The switchover has to happen. If Trump is there and it happens on his watch, he helps engineer it. He, initiates the cutover a year or 2 or 3 from now. You're going to have a friendly in the office. If Kamala's in charge, you're not. Gold and silver is just money that isn't in the dollar. It's not in harm's way. So for anyone sitting there nervous, pins and needles, and you think Trump is going to be able to wave a magic wand over the math doesn't respond to magic wands. He's not. There's no magic wand to be waved over these numbers. This horrific situation started many decades ago. But you would have a friendly in the White House to look out for the common American as this painful transition would happen. If Kamala's the one headed to the White House, start making plans faster. That's
Yep. So that's what we have to pay attention to. And I think it's important, as you said, one of the things that God, and I've talked, God depends on us to make decisions for ourselves. While he informs us, we still have to act. And that's one of the things I learned about being sober is that, you're going to get guidance, but you got to do something. It's not, being sober, being focused on service and on God. It's not sitting back and hoping for the best. It's moving forward and actually acting.
And when you look at that book, it's an education for a few chapters. And then there's a chapter called Into Action. And we take what we've learned and we act on it with courage. That to me is when God smiles the hardest, when he sees his kids act with courage. Sorry to cut you off.
I think
I was inspired.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. So, Karyn, do you want to add anything to that?
I just keep thinking God first, God first, God first the entire time you're talking, Paul. And that's what it comes down to. It's, we got to get ourselves in a place where we're having faith and, that we're looking at the bigger picture. And I think, when we talk about these Kamala Harris voters, these are people that are lost, they're lost souls, get back to God, and realize that, there are rules for a reason sometimes, and the rules of God need to be followed. And all of this stuff that the Democrats are focused on, Democrats, demons, I don't know, not saying that it's supposed to be a similarity, but at this point, it's something that is against God in every way, shape, or form. I don't think that God would want us to have, abortion be at the top of the issues for any party. I just can't wrap my head around it. Anybody who's grown up with any kind of religion whatsoever, any kind, would say to you, God isn't for that. But, people make their own choices. We have free will, whatever, and could reason why they might be pro-choice or might make other decisions. But to have this be something that's actually an agenda where people are pro-abortion, this is something that just in its simplistic nature should be so easy to see through. Yet we see people with Kamala Harris signs in their yards, and it's mind-boggling I know our entire chat and the panel of 4 sitting here. But, hopefully today we're going to see that we're making America great again. Put that sign up, Tony.
That's right.
Make America great again. We got to win this thing.
Don't make America cackle. There we go. That's another one.
Don't make Mexico
America great again.
Make America. Yeah.
Put
not
God
Mexico,
first.
America.
Put America
That's
first.
Right. So,
Yeah.
that's it. So, I hope you all don't mind. I'm sure the Patriots won't. Karyn, I'd like you to lead us in a prayer to close us out because we're coming up at the end of the hour here. So
oh my goodness. I would absolutely love to
do
do
one
that.
for us and we could all bow our heads. Patriots, bow your heads too. We'll all be in this together.
I would love that. And I'm actually gonna read one that I read quite a bit from this book because you guys are gonna like it. It's short and sweet. It's to the point.
Everybody
and it's
bow
perfect.
and I'm serious. Please. I mean, I joke about it a lot, but I'm serious about this. We should do this together.
This is for all of us. You are on the right path. Listen more to me and less to your doubts. I am leading you along the way that I designed just for you. Therefore, it can be a lonely way, humanly speaking. But before I go to you, alongside you, know that you are never alone. Do not expect anyone to fully understand my ways with you, any more than you can comprehend my dealings with others. I am revealing to you the path of life, day by day and moment by moment. As I said to my disciples, Peter, follow me, my love. Amen.
Amen.
I
Thank you,
just think
Karyn.
that
Yes,
is a
amen.
beautiful, motivating passage to remember all of us that God is in control, but we're all on this journey together. And we have to have faith and believe that, we are going to prevail and that we're going to be able to
Thank you.
save our freedom in this country. And I hope to
And thank
God
you,
that
Loves Christ.
tomorrow and next week, I'll be back with you guys and we'll be, singing
Yeah,
a very positive tune.
we will, no matter what. We are the positive people who get things done, and I'm proud to know every one of you. I've come to know every one of you through what we do, and I'm proud to know every one of you. You've been amazing. You're amazing Americans, great Americans, and we're going to make America great again.
Let's
So
do it.
that,
And,
Thank you,
with that
Tony.
said,
and we're the
thank you,
ones that are
Paul.
going to bring joy. That's what we're going to be, the ones bringing joy and fun to America, because that's what we do.
So and yeah, so a program note tomorrow. I hope you both tune in because we're going to have Susan Olson. Susan's going to be on. We're going to bring on some special guests that Susan and I are going to bring on. So you guys, pet lovers are going to love the show tomorrow. Just saying, no matter what. No squirrels, but something like squirrels. They're going to look like squirrels, but I can't say anything more. I'll give it
Oh
away.
boy. Yeah, so we
So
have
it'll
we
be
have
good.
Susan.
No, it'll be good. People are going to love it, Chris. Trust me on this.
I'm with
I've
you.
got-
Can't
I'm
wait.
good.
I'm with it. Josh and Andy are joining us too, by the way. So Josh
Yeah,
and Angie are
It'll be
joining
good.
us.
It'll
so
be a
that'll
good
great.
post-analysis show. So
Yes.
I think we're going to have a winner tonight. That winner is going to be us and the American people because Donald Trump's going to prevail. That's my forecast. So,
Amen.
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 Yep.
Paul,
Amen.
thank you for being here. Again, check out Paul Stone and his team at colonialmetalsgroup.com/ed-henry. You will go right. You will never go wrong. We're on the right side of history, and Paul will help you stay on the right side of history no matter what happens. There you go. Karyn, you've been outstanding. Thank you so much for the spiritual guidance and enthusiastic framing of how things are and how we can act to make them better. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to
And
be
Chris,
here. I'll see you guys next
I'll
week.
see. That's right. And Chris, I'll see you in the village. So
Yes,
remember,
we'll be there.
vote.
We'll get some information.
Vote for number 6.
Or number 2. Are you a free man or not? Or a number?
That's right. I am not a number. I'm a free man. And so let's go
seeing
vote
you.
to be free. All right. Be
Hoorah.
seeing you.
God bless you. God bless America.
Bye.